Get historical data from IB TWS in Python, part 2. Create the form or window frame and connect to TWS. First thing you need to do is start the idle text editor. And it should look like this when it comes up. And then you want to go to File, go to New, and then you want to save it. Call it Python Historical Data. Yes. Okay, then we're ready to start coding. Okay, the next thing is to do your imports. Make sure you import all this stuff. And if you haven't already installed the IB Pi, please do so, or you'll get an error when you run the program with these imports. Okay, next let's create a class. Okay, and then at the bottom, and then put in this at the bottom. Basically, it gives the form a title, historical data, and the geometry would be the size of the form. And this puts the form on top all the time, the topmost. And this calls the class application class, and this keeps the window open. This root main loop needs to be in there. Next, we create a function. Initialize the frame. And some variables go in here. The port, client ID, this can be any number. Variable to hold the ID, which is any number also, 5, 6, 7. And symbol I'm setting to Microsoft, and account code to none. And string data, I guess we'll use that later. I forget what that was there for. And then call the grid and create the widgets. And so let's create the widgets now. So create a method or function for that. Type that in here. And okay, we create a button for connecting. And name the button connect, and these are some of the things you have to put in, like self, text equals the name of the button, what you want to call the button. This command it calls a method, so when you press the button for connect, it calls this method. And this here adds this to the Windows form, adds it to the grid on row 1, column 1, and the sticky W means it's basically left justified. And then we create a button to get the data. I called it button get data. Add it to row 0, column 2, and the command contract creation is the function that's called when you click the button to get data. And create some labels here for the what symbol, and create a combo box to hold the symbol. I guess it doesn't really have to be a combo box, it can also be an entry box. this my font is a variable I created up here called my font Arial 12. That's the name of the font and the size of the font. Instead of having to type out all this stuff, I just made a variable to hold it. Okay, the text variable is a variable that holds the, let's say, the symbol. Like if you want to get the symbol from that text box, you have to assign it a variable and then add it to the grid on row 2, column 0. Okay, and then create another label for end, date, and time, and call it end date. Add that to the grid. Okay, and then create a label for duration. Add it to row 3, column 1. Create label for bar size setting. And add that to the grid on row 3, column 2. Call it bar size. Create an entry box for the end time, date and time. And make a variable for variable date and time, which we'll do later, which goes near the bottom. Add that to row 4, column 0. Create an entry box for the duration. Actually, we're going to create a combo box, not an entry box. So change that to combo box. And text variable will be var duration. And these values here, 1Y stands for 1 year, 1M stands for 1 month, and so on. 1D stands for 1 day, 2 days. These are the values that will be loaded into the combo box when you start the program. Add that to row 4, column 1. And create an entry box for bar size setting. Actually a combo box. Let's change that to combo box. And the text variable will be var bar size, and the values will be 1 day, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And add that to the grid on row 4, column 2. Create a list box for the data, make it 2 lines, or the list box 1 insert will not work. You get an error. Damn, that was frustrating. I had this all in 1 line and it would not work. Like I put list box 1, list box, and then root, blah blah blah, and then I put a dot and then grid to add it to the grid. Sure, it showed up and everything when you started up the form or the program, but when you had to get the information into the list box, it wouldn't go. So I had to end up putting this on the grid part on the 2nd row, otherwise it wouldn't even work. That's what I am saying. That was damn frustrating, because it took me a while to figure it out. I had to look it up on Stack Overflow, which is a helpful place to go when having problems or need to know how to do a certain thing. You can post a question and coding experts will give you the answer if it's not already posted somewhere else. Added method or function for connecting to the interactive brokers, like it's when you press the button for connecting, this method will be called, and just add that here. comment this out. I don't know if you need it. Okay, let's create the variable for the date and time, the text variable for the text box date and time. Okay, what is it? Actually, I can copy and paste that from the code that I've already written out. Save some time, I guess. Okay, in the duration combo box, the value will be 1 day as a default when you start the form. So I'm setting it to 1 day. And the bar size, I'm setting it to 5-minute bar size. And in the symbol box, that'll be set to Microsoft MSFT, all capitalized. And it has to be written exactly as it is here. Connect to TWS was in the command on the button connect right here. So that's what we're calling, connect to TWS. And that's the function here. Okay, now let's create that other function, contract creation, I believe it was. For now, we're just going to put pass in it, so it just doesn't really do anything. But that will be discussed in a later video. Okay, let's try it out. Go to run, or press F5, and then you save it, and then this will come up, and you just the form or the window, and press connect, and then it says accept incoming connection. Okay, in order to know whether you're connected or not, you go to your shell, Python shell, and it'll say that you're connected, and it gives you the time. And also, one other thing I should mention is make sure that your global configuration is set up under the API settings. Make sure this enable ActiveX and socket clients is checked off and you're using port 7496. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all your support and subscriptions. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers. As of now, I only have 37. I believe I'm providing value. In the next video, we will request a historical data and display it in a list box. See you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.